Hypersonic Missile. Source: Interesting Engineering. Al Jazeera. By visualgk.com. In the never-ending quest to find weapons that will give a country the power it needs to knock out its adversaries, a new type of weapon has emerged. Ultra-fast hypersonic missiles that can hit targets anywhere on Earth within an hour. These new weapons are billed as unstoppable. Russia launched its Kinzhal hypersonic missile in its war in Ukraine in March 2022, making it the first country to ever test this type of missile in combat. What does hypersonic mean? Hypersonic, literally excess speed, in relation to missiles, refers to missiles that can fly long distances through the atmosphere, at speeds greater than 5 times the speed of sound, or faster than Mach 5. The speed of sound changes, depending on the medium in which it is traveling, and the temperature of that medium. If we assume the altitude to be at sea level, dry air, and a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius, the speed of sound comes out to be around 761 miles per hour. This speed is called the local speed of sound, or Mach 1. Flight regimes are defined based on the Mach number, that is Ma. So subsonic means Ma less than 1. Transonic means Ma equal to 1. The speed range between Mach 1 and Mach 3 is supersonic. And the speed above Mach 5 is called hypersonic. What makes hypersonic missiles so fast? There are mainly two types of hypersonic missiles. A hypersonic cruise missile, which is powered by engines throughout its flight, and a hypersonic boost glide missile, which is boosted to hypersonic speeds by rockets, and then glides through the atmosphere, using lift from the airflow to maneuver. The hypersonic cruise missiles would be powered by scramjet, or supersonic combustion ramjet engines. Currently, countries that have tested these engines include Russia, USA, India and China. Trajectories of hypersonic missiles. Hypersonic glide vehicle. HGV. Injected from a ballistic launcher, then progresses without propulsion, using skip and glide phases, in the upper atmosphere. Hypersonic cruise missile. HCM. Powered throughout its flight, by a ramjet or scramjet, progresses to the target through the lower atmosphere, below 30 kilometers. Intercontinental ballistic missile. Greater probability of interception, owing to its predictable trajectory. Who has hypersonic weapons? China, Russia and the US have the most advanced capabilities, and several other countries are investigating the technology, including India, Japan, Australia, France, Germany, and North Korea. All the major players in this weapon race have had some success in developing a boost glide missile, as well as testing their scramjet technologies. However, China, North Korea, Russia, and the US are the only countries that have successfully tested a hypersonic cruise missile. What is a Kinzhal? The Kh-47M2 Kinzhal, means dagger in Russian, is a Russian-made, nuclear-capable, hypersonic, aeroballistic, air-to-surface missile, which is able to perform evasive maneuvers in flight. A Kinzhal is 8 meters long, and can reach Mach 10. The missile weighs 4,300 kilograms, and can carry a conventional, or nuclear payload of, up to 480 kilograms. It is said that a Kinzhal can achieve a range of, over 2,000 kilometers, if launched from a Tupolev Tu-22M strategic bomber. What's the significance of hypersonic weapons? The two main factors that rekindled the interest in hypersonic missiles were their speed and maneuverability. The conventional intercontinental ballistic missiles are capable of hypersonic speeds, but they follow a predictable parabolic trajectory, and are easier to track and intercept. Hypersonic missiles, on the other hand, approach very rapidly at low altitudes, and so, are much more difficult to track and take down. Hypersonic missiles are meant to target the anti-access and area denial measures deployed by a country. Why is developing hypersonic weapons so challenging? Friction, or drag. As the hypersonic weapon pushes through the air, it faces resistance, proportional to its speed. This drag slows down the weapon, and it is particularly problematic in gliders, as any engines do not power them. Temperature. Drag also contributes to increasing the temperature of the aircraft, as well as the surrounding air. With temperatures rising to 2,200 degrees, these missiles have to be shaped and built from highly advanced materials. The heating can cause the surrounding air to ionize. This ionized air can degrade the weapon's surface. Shock wave. An object flying faster than the speed of sound generates a moving layer of dense air, known as a shock wave. At hypersonic speeds, this shock wave makes a very narrow angle with the weapon's direction of motion, and almost hugs the weapon, forcing the hot, chemically unstable air to come in close contact with the weapon's surface. These factors threaten the weapon's integrity. Maneuverability. Maneuverability is important for a hypersonic missile, but low lift and high drag can hamper this ability. Maneuvers can be costly, because changing the direction at hypersonic speed will use up an enormous amount of the object's kinetic energy. Communication. Communication is a problem for these high-value weapons, as the intense heat builds up a cloud of supercharged particles around them, called plasma, which is very hard for normal radio communications to penetrate. Do hypersonic vehicles have peaceful applications? Vehicles able to fly at hypersonic speeds, for long durations, have many current and potential applications beyond their use as weapons. Perhaps the most notable of these peaceful applications is in the exploration of outer space. Spaceplanes, vehicles which can both travel through outer space and glide within a planetary atmosphere, enable the safe return of space missions to Earth, and the reuse of the vehicle for future missions. The U.S. Space Shuttle was an example of such a system, one which carried out numerous hypersonic re-entries. Please like, share and subscribe. visualgk.com